request that we give him one more round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Governor, sir, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, with your kind permission, we'll take some goodwill messages. First on up is the Special Advisor to Mr. Governor on the Environment, Engineer Olakunle Rotimi Akodu. Sir, you have just 2 minutes.
Mr. Governor, we really appreciate you honoring us with your presence, sir. Mr. Deputy Governor, thank you so much for being here. Our royal fathers, thank you so much. Colleagues from the Executive Council, thank you for joining us here. Body of permanent secretaries, we appreciate you. The international bodies that are here, the diplomats that are here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Well, blue economy, as said, is what we're all familiar with. There are potentials that are bound, a lot that we need to unlock. Mr. Governor, in his magnanimity, in genuineness, done a lot. He has led the way, he has shown the way, he has given us he has led the way, he has shown us what to do, and we're diligently following up on that. Mr. Governor has also, in about a few weeks or a few months back, led the team of ESCO members towards Elashe. And what we found there is huge potential for tourism. These are opportunities we need to work on, we need to tap. The Lekki corridor in itself, if you look at it, is opened up now, and the Lekki deep sea port has really opened up that place. Lagos is a state that is made up of over 20% of water, and is as often referred to Lagos a state of aquatic splendor. We will be doing a great disservice not taking advantage of this or allowing this to go into ruin. People are coming daily to mess up the water bodies. What is supposed to be advantageous to Lagos is becoming disadvantageous. It's creating a lot of environmental issues. And there are a lot of revenues that can come from there. So the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources have the mandate of Mr. Governor to see that we convert these negativities to positives. Just of recent, like as said by Honorable Commissioner, Lagos was just honored in Abuja for the second time consecutive, the best performing state, subnational in Nigeria, in climate governance. All the necessary activities that are expected to be in place, Lagos has been rated to be first nationally. And we want to assure you that as we continue to give in our best, we'll never get back. More and more successes will be recorded. Blue economy, green money, coastal innovations, and all of these are things that we need to put in place to ensure that the progress of the state is assured. Once again, I want to say thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Governor, and everyone here. Thank you so much for coming.
Mr. Governor, sir, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, next we'll take the goodwill message from the Kingdom of Netherlands. Let me invite the Policy Advisor on Economic Affairs and Public Diplomacy, Okpeyemi Oriniowo. A round of applause for him, please. Sir, you have just 2 minutes.
Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, permit me to stand on already established protocol. I'm taking this goodwill on behalf of the Netherlands Mission in Nigeria. It's a great honor for the Kingdom of the Netherlands to join the government and people of Lagos State at this year's Lagos International Climate Summit. The theme, Blue Economy, Green Economy, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience, and Ocean Innovation, captures a shared ambition for both our nations and all their building prosperity while safeguarding the planet. As a country that has lived below sea levels for centuries, the Netherlands understands what it means to turn vulnerability into strength. Our long history of living with water, not against it, has shaped our belief that sustainable progress depends on collaboration, innovation, and inclusion. This is why we are proud of our deepening partnership with Lagos State and other subnational governments across Nigeria in advancing climate resilience, circular innovation, and sustainable water and waste management. Last year, together with the Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources and a number of Dutch companies and knowledge partners, we organized a learning mission to the Netherlands focused on urban waste management, circular economy solutions, and climate adaptation. Earlier this year, we built on that momentum with a learning exchange on nature-based solutions for coastal protection and erosion control in partnership with the Lagos State Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development. A key outcome of that mission was an award of grants by Invest International to support pre-visibility studies and visibility studies for the Lagos coastline. This has now been formalized through a memorandum of understanding between a consortium of Dutch companies, CDR, Boskalis and Van Oord, and the Lagos State government, making a significant step towards evidence-based sustainable coastal protection. In addition, the Netherlands Mission hosted a circular economy innovation exchange which brought together and took the Lagos State Office of Climate Change and Circular Economy alongside delegates from Ogun, Abia, Anambra, and Kano State to the Netherlands. We also supported the National Council of Climate Change in the development of delegates from Ogun, Abia, Anambra, and Kano State to the Netherlands. We also supported the National Council of Climate Change in the development of the Nigeria NDC 3.0. These national and cross-regional initiatives underscores our shared commitments to fostering circular growth and local climate innovation across Nigeria. We are also encouraged by the Lagos State Waterways Authority and their plans to visit the Netherlands for the Maastricht exhibition, the world's largest showcase of marine technology and innovation, and their request for support towards actualization of sustainable water transportation system in Lagos State. These continued exchanges reflect strong forward-looking partnerships between Lagos State government and the Netherlands, one grounded in practical collaboration and mutual learning. As the conversation at this summit turns towards financing Africa's coastal resilience, it is worth noting that the Netherlands offers a robust ecosystem of financing and technical support instruments for climate-related projects. Mechanisms such as the Dutch Fund for Climate and Development and Invest International are designed to catalyze investments in climate adaptation, nature-based infrastructure, circular economy initiatives, and sustainable blue economy ventures. These facilities actively seek partnerships with African government and private sector and development actors to turn bold ideas into bankable and scalable projects. As Lagos State continues to champion Africa's blue and green economy, the Netherlands remains a steadfast partner supporting initiatives that mobilize climate finance, strengthening coastal resilience, and to empower innovation-driven solutions for sustainable future. Together, we can transform shared challenges into shared opportunities for our economies, our people, and our planet. On behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, I extend our warmest wishes and fruitful deliberation and pray for a lasting partnership between both parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Governor, sir, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Next, let me invite the Consul General from the People's Republic of China for our goodwill message. A round of applause for her, Yang Yuyin.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, Mr. Governor Babajindi Olusola Sanwo-Olu, Mr. Mr. Deputy Governor, Mr. Hamdet, you are all great friends of China. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm General Counsel of China in Lagos, but I like you call me Ayo Uchi Fatima. I love Nigeria. I love Lagos. This is Lagos. So it is a great pleasure to attend the 11th Lagos International Climate Change Summit today. You know, in September 2025, Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered a video speech to the United Nations Climate Summit. At this critical moment, making the 10th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, and for countries to submit the new nationally determined contributions, President Xi Jinping called for the following in his speech. First, we must form up confidence. Second, we must live up to responsibilities. Third, we must deepen cooperation. Just last month, the fourth plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of CPC reviewed and adopted the 15th five-year plan for national economic and social development, which made further agreements for accelerating the green transition across the board and building a beautiful China, highlighted pressing ahead with the critical battle against pollution and the drive to upgrade ecosystems, moving faster to develop a new type of energy system, working actively and prudently toward peaking carbon emissions and accelerating the shift to eco-friendly production practices and lifestyles. China has taken correct steps and is seeing significant results in its climate efforts. Our urban density continues to fall. In 2024, non-fossil fuels already accounted for nearly 1/5 of our primary energy mix, and we have met several of our 2030 targets, including for wind and solar capacity and forest stock, ahead of schedules. China is committed to both global climate governance and green development in the global south. Since 2016, we have mobilized over 177 billion Chinese yuan to support developing countries to address climate change. So far, we have signed 55 climate MOUs on South-South climate cooperation with 43 countries, run over 300 capacity building projects, and provided 10,000 training places to more than 120 nations, all to extend the benefits of low-carbon cooperation. China has
British Deputy High Commissioner, Mr. Simon Field. A round of applause for him, please.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. Governor, Deputy Governor, KBC's Honorable Commissioner. My name is Oluwatosin Adenuga. I'm representing the British High Commission. Distinguished guests, colleagues and partners, on behalf of the British Deputy High Commission, I extend warm greetings and commend Lagos State for its bold and transformative leadership in climate action and sustainable development. Lagos stands as a beacon of innovation and resilience, not only for Nigeria, but for the entire African continent. As Africa's fastest growing coastal city, Lagos has embraced its climate vulnerabilities as opportunities for progress. For 2 consecutive years now, Lagos has been rated Nigeria's best performing state in climate governance. Congratulations to Lagos. This achievement is not just about numbers. It reflects years of deliberate work, strong policies, and collective effort. The UK is proud to work with Lagos to support innovative climate-smart initiative that attracts flows of green finance into the state. By mainstreaming climate change across the economy, we unlock opportunities for resilient growth. Through the Future Cities program, we proudly supported Lagos in shaping sustainable urban transport and waterways strategies, laying the foundation for the transformative projects like the Umieko project. The recent E1 series, hosted here in Lagos, is another great example of innovation born on the River Thames in London. This event showcased clean marine technology and global collaboration. We are excited that British firms like Seabird Technologies are exporting cutting-edge solutions, creative jobs, and driving green growth. We celebrate Lagos for convening this summit and for fostering collaborations across borders, sectors, and generations. May this gathering catalyze new partnerships, unlock sustainable financing, and inspire climate solutions that uplifts community across Africa and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor, sir, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies. Quickly, with your kind permission, sir, from the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany in Lagos, let's welcome the Deputy Consul General, Gerald Roof. Your Excellency, sir, you have just 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to face such a distinguished audience today, and I'm very grateful to the Lagos State Government for organizing this conference, which is pinpointing the challenges a coastal city like Lagos is facing as it is impacted by rising sea levels as an effect of worldwide climate change. As we speak, world leaders are gathering in Brazil on the eve of the COP30 conference in Belém next week, where further contributions to tackle climate change will be discussed, and Germany and Nigeria are doing their share to do the best efforts that can be done to reduce the effects of climate change. Germany and Nigeria have agreed energy partnership. Among other things, this is supposed to support the implementation of the energy transition plan that Nigeria has decided upon. And among other things, Germany has set up a hydrogen office, dedicated office to promote the use of hydrogen as the fuel of the future. And we also support projects to promote the use of solar energy across the country. And earlier this week, the German and Nigerian governments have met in the Binational Commission in Berlin to discuss further projects to promote energy cooperation, which will further help to reduce the effects of climate change worldwide. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mr. Governor, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies. Next, let me invite the representative of the Right Honorable Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Dr. Mudashiru Obasa, in the person of the Chairman House Committee on the Environment, Honorable Olanrewaju Afini.
First, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, a great Lagosian, a great Lagos Islander, a man at whose behest I serve. The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, HC Environment, SA Environment, and other members of the State Cabinet here present, the Oba of Lagos, represented by the White Cap Chiefs, other traditional rulers here present, GAC members here present, all other courtesies duly extended. On behalf of the Lagos State House of Assembly, I extend my warmest greetings and congratulate the Lagos State government for its leadership in hosting this critical dialogue. The theme, Blue Economy, Green Money, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience and Ocean Innovation, is just what is needed at the moment. Lagos, a dynamic coastal megacity, stands as a testament to Africa's potential and resilience. Our focus on harnessing our vast marine and coastal natural capital is not just an environmental strategy, it is an economic blueprint for sustainable growth, job creation, and climate adaptation for the entire continent. This summit should be more than just a meeting of minds. It should be a catalyst for action, as it has been for many years running. It is a platform for turning ambition into investment and vision into reality. The global community looks to forums like this for bold ideas and concrete steps towards a sustainable future. We are here for advocacy, to mobilize finance, and of course, to forge partnerships. The Lagos State House of Assembly is proud to be part of this crucial endeavor. May our deliberations over the next couple of days be fruitful and lead to a wave of new ideas, innovations, and investments that will create a more prosperous and resilient future for coastal communities across Africa and the world at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Governor, the Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the last goodwill message, which is that of the Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, ably represented here today by the Director General and Special Envoy to the Governor on Climate Change and Renewable Energy, Professor Chinwe Obuaku Igwe. A round of applause for her, please.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, the Deputy Governor, Honorable Commissioners, Permanent Secretaries, Royal Fathers, distinguished delegates, global experts, innovators, policymakers, and esteemed guests. I've just been informed that we are the last to share our goodwill message. And with your kind permission, Mr. Governor, I'd like to digress from my script. The last time I was here, I nearly suffered a heart attack for two reasons. Because when I attended a meeting in Abuja, that before the federal government would think of implementing any project, Lagos State is already ahead of us. It is an honor and a privilege to bring you warm greetings from His Excellency Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke, the Governor of Osun State, and from the people of Osun State, a state passionately committed to building a future that is not only climate resilient, but climate intelligent. The Lagos International Climate Change Summit has, over the years, evolved from a local policy forum into one of Africa's most credible intellectual and strategic platforms for climate discourse. And this 19th edition, themed Blue Economy, Green Money, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience and Ocean Innovation, affirms Lagos's continued leadership in translating climate ambition into actionable pathways. Let me begin by acknowledging with both humility and admiration that Lagos State currently ranks first overall in the National Climate Governance Index, a recognition that celebrates not just your vision, but your sustained commitment to institutionalizing climate response. A recognition that celebrates not just your vision, but your sustained commitment to institutionalizing climate responsibility. Regionally, Lagos stands as number one, with Osun State proudly holding the second position. Give us a round of applause, come on. 1 year, we went from the 30th position to the 6. So I believe we deserve another round of applause. In the climate governance landscape, Lagos is not just leading, it is lighting the path. And Osun State, following closely, draws strength and inspiration from our big brother, from that brilliance, as we currently and collectively shape a narrative of resilience that is uniquely Nigerian, proudly African, and globally consequential. This year's theme invites us to reimagine the ocean, not as a boundary, but as a frontier, not merely as a body of water, but as a body of wealth, wisdom, and wonder. Financing Africa's coastal resilience is not just an economic pursuit. It is an act of moral geography, one that redraws the map of our collective destiny along the lines of sustainability, equity, and shared prosperity. At a time when climate change is rewriting the script of development and redefining the true meaning of wealth, it is no longer enough to chase growth. We must curate. We must ensure that every naira and dollar spent on adaptation is an investment in dignity, and every innovation on ocean resilience is a covenant with future generations. In Osun State, under the visionary leadership of Governor Ademola Jackson Adeleke, we are cultivating a new ecosystem of climate action, one that integrates renewable energy transitions, climate-smart agriculture, circular economy initiatives, and youth-focused green livelihoods. We have begun the domestication of the National Climate Change Act 2021. We have established frameworks for green gas accounting at subnational level, and we are working toward a carbon economy blueprint that transforms emissions into opportunities. But we also know that no state can walk this path alone. Climate governance is not a competition, it is a communion. It is in Lagos that we see what's possible when governance, innovation, and moral clarity intersect. So today, as we gather in the space of ideas and intent, let us commit not only to talk about resilience, but to finance it, to institutionalize it, and to live it. Let us make Africa's blue economy not just a vision for tomorrow, but an enterprise of today, powered by green money, guided by blue wisdom, and anchored on the deep current of continental collaboration. On behalf of my principal, the government, and people of Osun State, I congratulate the Lagos State government for its enduring leadership and intellectual generosity in hosting the summit. May the insights shared here ripple far beyond the shores of Lagos, inspiring other states, including my lovely Osun State, to build an Africa that not only survives the climate crisis, but defines the post-carbon era. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Osun is racing. Can we give Osun State another round? Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we now go into our theme with lead paper 1. Our speaker is a respected voice from the Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership, and today he will help us connect the dots between regulation, credibility, and climate finance at scale. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Taiwo Ajetumobi to deliver lead paper 1 on blue economy, green money, financing Africa's coastal resilience and ocean innovation. Can we please give him a round of applause as he comes up stage?
Your Excellency, Mr. Governor, Your Excellency, Mr. Deputy Governor, please permit me to stand on previously established protocol. I am Taiwo Ajetumobi, a proud, very, very proud Lagosian, a product of Ikeja Grammar School, Oshodi. So it is very good to be home. I lead the investment management team at Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership, and on behalf of my Director General and the Special Envoy of Mr. President to China, I greet you all good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before this distinguished audience at a time when Lagos is once again setting the tone for subnational economic leadership in Africa. The theme of this year's summit, Blue Economy, Green Money, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience and Ocean Innovation, is not only timely, but it is also visionary. It reflects a growing understanding that the prosperity of our people and the preservation of our planet must move in tandem. Today's paper will be centered on on 7 key points. Lagos and the blue economy opportunity. When we speak of the blue economy, we're speaking of more than oceans and waterways. We're speaking of development frontier, where climate resilience and coastal infrastructure, logistics, energy, and tourism intersect. For Nigeria, the blue economy represents the next horizon of growth. And Lagos, with its 180 kilometers, that is about 20% of the entire coastline of the country, its vibrant ports and dynamic private sector is uniquely positioned to lead this transformation. Indeed, Lagos has already demonstrated what strategic vision and strong governance can achieve. For instance, the Lekki Deep Sea Ports, executed through a PPP between the federal government, Lagos State, and private investors, stands as one of Africa's most successful examples of subnational federal alignment. It is more than a port. It is an ecosystem that will catalyze over $360 billion to Nigeria's GDP and generate about $200 billion in new government revenue over its 45-year concession period. In addition, it strengthens Nigeria's already strong position as a regional maritime hub. This project succeeded because the federal government and Lagos state governments spoke with one voice. They de-risked the project environment and created a structure where private capital could thrive. It is proof that when the federal vision meets subnational execution, private capital is bound to follow. Number 2, the imperative of alignment. You will hear me say alignment. We must apply this same logic to further developing Nigeria's blue economy and in developing climate-resilient infrastructure projects. At the federal level, Nigeria's energy transition plan, the Blue Climate Action Plan, the Blue Economy Policy Framework, and the Presidential Initiative on Climate Action are clear statements of intent from the federal government. At the state level, Lagos is developing innovative water transport systems, coastal protection programs, and waste-to-energy initiatives. Now, for context globally, climate finance has become the fastest-growing segment of development capital, with over $1 trillion available annually and rising. And so the opportunity is clear. Alignment remains the missing link. Investors, whether in Beijing, Dubai, or London, are looking for 3 important things: policy coherence, regulatory predictability, and project bankability. If we align this across tiers of government, economy, as well as for the multiple climate resilient infrastructure developments going on. On number 3, I'll speak on PPP models that we have seen work in the past. And honestly, we have all the tools already. From my work at Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership, I have seen how the right PPP frameworks can turn ambition into assets. Around the world, cities are financing climate-resilient projects using adaptable PPP structures. This is a model Nigeria can scale, also leveraging our own local innovation. Let me highlight a few, each of which allows private operators to invest and generate attractive returns. Number 1, design, build, finance, and operate. In this instance, the private party designs, they build, they finance, they operate, but government retains ownership. And this model is ideal for utilities, where there is an imperative to deliver social goods to its people. The very popular build, operate, transfer model that we've seen work really well in Nigeria. In fact, it was exactly the model that was used to develop MMA2 in the past. In this instance, private sector will build, they will operate, and they will concession for a period of time. And it is fantastic for airport terminals, ferry terminals, coastal highways, and the likes. You've got the lease, develop, and operate model, in which case the state already owns the asset. What private sector is doing is they're essentially taking over operational control of such assets and operational risk. Things like jetties, water facilities can be leased, they can be modernized and operated by private sector. And then you have the traditional concession agreement that we all know, where the asset already exists and private sector just comes to operate it. Each of these models offers Lagos the opportunity to leverage private innovation and financing while maintaining public oversight and social value. Number 4, there's some lessons from success. When federal and state policy aligns, projects move from PowerPoint to pavement quickly. Let me quickly illustrate 3 instructive examples across Nigeria. The Lekki Deep Sea Port. Federal and state governments aligned under a BOT concession supported by Chinese and Nigerian investors. Clear governance and shared incentives de-risked the project and ended up attracting about $1 billion in investment capital. The Lagos-Ibadan Railway, where the federal government-led execution involved cooperation with Lagos and Ogun states. This project illustrates how intergovernmental coordination can accelerate logistics, integration, and regional growth. I had highlighted before the Murtala Mohammed Airport, MMA2, Nigeria's first privately financed airport terminal. It transformed air travel experience while reducing fiscal pressure on government. Each of these projects succeeded because they shared 3 common features: clarity of roles, transparency of process, and continuity of commitment across political cycles. These are the same ingredients Lagos must preserve as it scales its own climate-resilient PPP projects. Number 5, I will speak on improving the business environment. As global investors evaluate Nigeria's PPP space, several critical lessons stand out from international best practices on how to improve ease of doing business for them. Lagos can champion this at a subnational level. 1, standardization and transparency. Developing a unified PPP framework for Lagos, aligned with Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission at the federal level, using model concession agreements already pre-developed, and having an online pipeline that is available to investors and can attract credible investors quickly. 2, early stage project preparation. Many projects die at this early stage in the project development journey. Lagos State can develop a Lagos PPP preparation fund to finance feasibility studies and environmental assessments. Investors are way more likely to commit when projects are both technically ready and financially bankable. Number 3, blended and local currency finance. Lagos can work with development partners to create a viability gap funding and partial credit guarantee instruments. This will make climate and social projects bankable while mitigating exchange rate risk for investors. Number 4, stronger institutional gatekeeping. Its Office of PPPs and ministries such as Ministry of Environment and Water Resources to act as gatekeepers, ensuring value for money assessments and fiscal risk evaluations before approval. And number 5, but not the least, policy consistency. It is important that Lagos maintains strong alignment between it as a subnational and the federal government, aligning its climate priorities with the federal government's nationally determined contributions and global frameworks such as the Paris Agreement and the AU's Africa Blue Economy Strategy. If Lagos adopts these reforms and initiatives, it can position itself as Africa's model for subnational climate investment, a place where sustainability meets profitability. Without China. From the vantage, we cannot live without talking about China. From the vantage point in my office, I must emphasize the strategic role of China as a global partner in the blue economy infrastructure. China today leads the world in clean energy development, off-grid electrification, port development, shipbuilding capacity, and marine logistics digitization. In addition, its financial institutions, such as the China, is in green and climate-aligned projects. In fact, several Chinese investors have already shown interest in partnering on Lagos State's waste-to-energy projects, Lagos Water Transport Development Program, and solar-powered cold chain hubs across fishing communities in the state. These are precisely the type of projects that align with the theme of this summit, as well as both Nigeria's energy transition plan and China's Belt and Road Initiative. By institutionalizing frameworks that are transparent, consistent, and commercially viable, Lagos can attract a ready wave of capital, not as loans, but as long-term equity investors and partners in the development of our very dear Lagos. Number 7, the way forward. Distinguished guests, the path before us is clear. The question is not whether Nigeria's blue economy will rise. It is more a question of how fast and how sustainably will it rise. To achieve this, we must align. We must ensure Lagos State's blue economy strategy is synchronized with federal climate and maritime policies. We must de-risk. We must deploy PPP models and financial instruments that make projects much more commercially viable. We must engage. We must proactively court global investors, particularly from China, from Europe, from the Middle East, through clear pipelines and investment promotion missions. And we must sustain. We must build institutional mechanisms that protect projects from political turnover and ensure continuity. This is how we move from climate ambition to climate action. This is how we convert Nigeria's maritime opportunity into real wealth and shared prosperity. In closing, I will remind you all of a very important Yoruba saying, Omi ni o gbe erin sókè. It is water that will lift the elephant. It is indeed our blue waters, our coasts, ports, inland waterways that can lift Nigeria's economy to new heights. The story of Lagos is the story of resilience, of a city that has never waited for permission to lead. On behalf of my Director General and the Nigeria-China Strategic Partnership, I can tell you that Nigeria's partners are watching Lagos closely, not only for what it builds, but for how it builds, through collaboration, innovation, and alignment. That very important word, alignment. If we align our state, federal, and global climate strategies anchored in sound PPPs and credible governance, then Lagos will not only lead Nigeria's blue economy, it will define Africa's era of sustainable growth. Let us therefore act not in silos, but together as a single coordinated effort. Not with hesitation, but with conviction. Because the tide of opportunity is rising, and Lagos must rise with it. Eko Nibaje. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you very much, sir, for the depth of that presentation with us, even though you made it truly simplified. Can we please give him another round of applause? And before we proceed, Mr. Governor and Mr. Deputy Governor, I'd like to recognize in our midst the representative of the Honorable Minister for the Blue Economy, Dr. Moberiola. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Our second lead paper brings the discussion even closer to home in Lagos. Our speaker works at the front line of coastal development and ocean-facing infrastructure, with insights into the risks, innovations, and investments that come with building in a coastal city like ours. He is the director of Eco Atlantic City Management Limited. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. David Frame to deliver lead paper 2 on coastal resilience and ocean innovation. Can we please give him a round of applause?
Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to represent Echo Atlantic here today and discuss the journey that we've taken so far. And part of my presentation is a PowerPoint slide, so I hope the IT guys are able to sort that out, given the depth of this big screen behind me. Anyway, I have the script in front of me, so there you go, there it is. Now I'll go through it together with you, but it's important that we remember the history. If we go back to the origin of the erosion of our lovely Bar Beach that we all remember, started in 1912. At that time, the Port Authority decided that they needed to expand the facility of Lagos Port. In doing so, they were required to excavate a deep channel leading to the Port of Lagos, which is the Commodore Channel. At that time, that channel was only 5, possibly 6 meters in depth, far too shallow for large ocean-going vessels to enter. So, in their wisdom, they decided to construct 2 very large rock moles. The first one to the west, known as the West Mole. The second one to the East Mole. Now, that created a sheltered channel for dredging, deepening the access to Lagos Port. But what they did not know, and with the benefit of hindsight and technology, we now know what they did, trapped sand that was moving along the west coast of the continent of Africa and was in fact extending that beach out to sea. The level of sand and the seafront was in fact 2.5 kilometers out to sea from Amado Bello Way. We have lost all that sand due to the erosion caused by the construction of those 2 moles. Now that is something that some people are old enough to remember, and I've spoken to many elderly residents of Lagos who confirm having to trek very far to take a cold box, enjoy the seafront, and trek all the way back. That's that 2.5 kilometers I'm talking about. So what happened? The erosion was very rapid. It was in the order of 25 to 30 meters of beach retreat year on year on year, until we reached 2005. What remained of our beloved Bar Beach and a greater part of Amado Bello Way collapsed into the sea. That event caused great concern for the residents of Victoria Island, and immediately the Lagos State Governor enlisted high-tech construction company to build a shoreline defense. High-tech engaged that promise from the governor and worked round the clock, 24 hours, to build a very robust seawall. that resisted further erosion to the coastline of Victoria Island, but was not the full story. We had to go further than that. And
you're still tuned to Arise News, and that was the Lagos International Club.
In 2006, we signed a concession agreement with the Lagos State Government to build the Atlantic City. And the first demand of that concession agreement was to design, engineer, construct, and finance the entire project. Following that signature, real construction began in 2008 using advanced GPS technology for precise placement of the elements of the seawall. Okay, now, I think they're jumping a bit ahead of me, but could you go back to slide 2, please? No, further. That's it. You got it. That screen you see there represents the development of Eco Atlantic from day one. As you can see, in 2009, there is no sand. That's how serious the situation was. Victoria Island, at its highest point, is 4.5 meters above sea level and slopes towards Ikoyi. When you reach the ramp to go on to Falomo Bridge, you're barely a meter above sea level. So put that in your minds. If the Bar Beach disappeared, you're very kind, thank you. If Bar Beach disappeared, if the whole of Amado Bellaway had gone, the whole of Victoria Island would have been under seawater. That doesn't bear thinking about. So, work started. In 2011, we had completed 3 million square meters of land reclaimed, and the seawall was advancing rapidly. 2015, we had gone even further, and we reclaimed 5 million square meters of land. 2018, we had gone and reclaimed close to 7 million square meters. But then, a little blip, COVID. We had to stop work, unfortunately. But we're still there, but we're working with our consultants and engineers. 2023, we advanced even further, and in 2024, we had achieved close to 8 million square meters, which is 80% of the project as a whole. So now we go on, hopefully, with the next slide, the Great Wall of Lagos. I don't know who coined that expression, but it feels good, Great Wall of Lagos. Technology defeats us all. Victoria Island, and Phase 1 Lekki from ocean surge. That Great Wall, as you can see from the first slide, is 8.5 meters above sea level at its crest. But below that is 10 to 12 meters of rock. The wall itself is also 8.5 kilometers in length, and at its base, 58 meters wide. A huge volume of rock. And that, our engineers tell us, is what is required to protect Echo Atlantic, but also protect, and our primary responsibility, protect Victoria Island and Lekki. I'm happy to say that that has been achieved already. Now, what does the wall consist of? In fact, there are multiple layers, 12 in fact, comprising rocks of different sizes, concrete acropods, which you will see in this third picture here. These are angular lumps of rock, of concrete, and they weigh 5 tons each. They're cast on site to very, very high standards, and they interlock together when they're placed. So it means they work in unison rather than individual units, which is the advantage over rock alone. But that is the core structure. But at the same time, we wanted to create a promenade where somebody could come to Echo Atlantic and enjoy the sea view. That promenade is 12 meters wide, and I make good use of it every evening after work. The wall was designed by the renowned Dutch engineers Royal Haskelley, and in order to prove the design, it had to be tested in laboratory conditions at the Danish Hydraulic Institute. And I attended that test. The test itself, according to international standard, has to withstand the most severe storm predictable in a 100-year period. We asked them to extend that testing, which they did in multiples. Eventually, it was tested to a 1,000-year storm condition, something they classified as a Hollywood scenario. The only place you will see it is in Hollywood. But it was tested to that degree, and it passed the test with flying colours. That gave us the confidence that that wall is going nowhere, and it will protect Victoria Island, Echo Atlantic, and Ikoyi long into the future. So let's try again. There we go. Land reclamation. All right. The total planned area of Echo Atlantic is 10 million square meters. That is almost the equivalent of twice the size of Victoria Island. And on that footprint, we are constructing a city of international standard. We are using the technology available to us, and we are putting in place international standards of construction to make sure that we are working hard and delivering what we promised to do. The sand is achieving on a daily basis 3,000 square meters of reclamation. and we are already well on program to complete the whole of what we call the marine works by the end of 2027. Have I got a few more minutes? Okay, right, thank you. So, okay, we've dealt with the seawall, we've dealt with the construction of it, but there's more. Here we go. Anyway, it's defeated us. Oh, there we go. Very good. We have decided to use precast concrete blocks rather than asphalt for the major roads. The reason why: number one, we are using a resource that we are very knowledgeable of, that is concrete. It's more resilient than asphalt, but it has the additional environmental advantage that rather than absorbing the heat of the sun, as asphalt does, and releasing it out, making the whole area hotter, we are reflecting that heat. And we are told by consultants who work for the American Consulate Project that we are reducing the core temperature of Echo Atlantic by at least 5 degrees centigrade. So that makes life more comfortable. We're also devoted to green infrastructure. We have a tree nursery in Lekki that can cultivate up to 250,000 trees and shrubs. We have already planted and installed in excess of 8,000 to date in Echo Atlantic, and we will continue to do that in order to create that green environment that we're all looking forward to. We also are using LED lighting systems to reduce the power consumption. And I realize I'm going over a little bit, I apologize. But it's important to know that an EIA, an environmental impact assessment, was made on Echo Atlantic as a collaboration with the Federal Minister of Environment and the Lagos State Ministry of Environment. And we have regular visits from the Lagos State Ministry to ensure that we are progressing. And I'm pleased to see that my good friend Mr. Lasisi of the Lagos State Ministry is in attendance tonight, and we work very close together. So we are also adapting IFC EDGE certification for buildings within Echo Atlantic. Now that means that in order for a building to be constructed, it has to comply with very stringent environmental standards. And we are applying those rules and regulations to all the developers within Echo Atlantic to ensure that we carry that burden forward. And one last thing, you're looking very worried. One last thing, we did manage to save a tree that was under threat in Ikoyi. And by the way, while we're waiting, that's the tree nursery we have in Ikoyi. Aha, there it is. This 60-year-old tree was doomed to be cut down and lost. And it was in Ikoyi, and through collaboration with environmental groups, we managed to save that tree, plant it in Echo Atlantic, just a very bare trunk at the time. But now I'm happy to see it's thriving, and it's an icon for the green engineering that we're applying in Echo Atlantic City. So that more or less wraps up my presentation. My apologies for the slow movement of the files, but what can I say? Again, my thanks to Lagos State Government, the Ministry of Environment, and all the help that they are providing to ensure that Echo Atlantic is delivering on green engineering. Thank you very much.
Mr. Frame, we see your passion, we feel your passion.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
In a world where news never sleeps, we're taking a giant leap into the future. We at TVC Communications are proud to introduce a new era in news broadcasting. But first, let me introduce my special friend, Olamide AI. Hi, Olamide.